Now, what do you suggest we do? Spank it.
You're listening to Comics Podcasting on the edge of civility.
Right, Rev. What's shaking, baby?
Bacon.
Bacon does not actually shake.
If you put it in a bag
And
shake it.
Do it shake? That's weaseling. It should shake on its own if you're going to say, what the fuck?
Bacon doesn't do anything on its own other than be awesome.
Well, then why would you say that it was shaking?
Well, because you asked.
That's not good enough. That's not funny at all.
Really?
Really.
Not at all?
No.
Not even like a little funny?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. You know.
God, you suck. The number of shit you convinced me into, man.
Less so. Like, you've gotten way more stubborn. You actually, no. You're harder to get to spend money and to go out drinking. Otherwise, it's about the same level.
What's left that we do?
You used to buy a lot more stuff. Like, oh, that looks pretty cool. Fine. Now you're like, no, fuck you. I don't. It actually does, but I hate you, so I'm going to be stubborn about it. How many things have you had to go back and buy when I wasn't around?
I have never done that. I have never done that because there's no way you won't discover it.
How many things have you wished you bought but didn't because I was there?
Thousands.
It would have been awesome if you hadn't ruined it by pointing out that it was awesome.
I might have got that one day, but you made me take a stand. Terrible. It's episode 202, kids. And you know what that means?
202.
Absolutely nothing special.
Yeah, 202 has
just
no
another
meaning.
fucking episode. We don't give a shit.
We barely did anything for 200. You think I'm going to fucking celebrate 202?
It is, however, DC week. And that
also-
always means a hot mess.
Also not celebrating. I think DCs are improving, but you know, again, we're reading such a bare bones minimum of them.
You want to start adding a couple?
I think
Because
we
I'm
should
reading
look
those
at it at some point because
After Convergence?
everything changes anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 52 dies. We should probably break it down and figure out what we consider core enough to go with for a while. But like, we have to have limits because I'm not doing 2 years of Justice League. Like, maybe it'll get better. That was me for 12, and then I still think it might get better. That was you for the next 12. Fucking 24 of them. Like, it still blows. Like, it's awful.
We'll stick with my hard line of 6, man.
Yeah, we might have to throw, if we take 2 more on each or something, like, just because it is
Well,
sad.
that's pretty descriptive of us. 2 more on.
But
You think?
I feel like our DC week is pretty sad.
It is. It really is.
And it's so limited in the, and I'm not judging at all, because fuck it, we pay for them, so, anyone who's bitches can shut the fuck up. But nonetheless, like, it's so limited in its overall scope.
Yeah.
Like, a third of it or more is Bat-related.
Yeah, which I've tried to avoid and cut down and change the percentages by bringing Wonder Woman back and Batgirl in.
But still Bat-related.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Even the Harley Quinns I do once in a while are Bat-related, really.
Yeah, and I can't handle that anymore, I was like, not everything has to happen in fucking Gotham.
Right, and then you figure out we got a couple Vertigo ones, and that doesn't really count either. So
not really,
yeah.
But they're printed by the same company, so we include them.
Right, but no, I'm saying it doesn't really add to the overall DC-ness.
No, not at all.
And I know it pisses you off not to be reading Green Lantern.
Well, I mean, it was pissing me off to read Green Lantern.
That's very true.
I mean, I would prefer a quality GL book, and I would read it, but I didn't feel that way.
Yeah. No, so you just repurged again.
Yes, that's the big thing. Holy shit-a-moly.
Although a fairly mild, with 2.5 boxes, so not that mild a purge, really, but
2.5 more long boxes taken out of the main collection and available for giveaways, kids.
Well, after I read them.
After you read through them and decide what you want to take, yes.
Here, as I said, I got to do the same thing, so it probably won't be all that much.
They didn't need to know that.
Hey, I'm all about the facts, bitches. I bring reality, truth.
We took
Autobiographical raps.
No. We took 3.5 hours to go through 21 long boxes, rebox them with brand spanking new boxes, go title by title, and almost run by run, and determine what I wanted to keep and what I gave a shit about and what might be interesting to have around to begin with, and then chuck the rest of that shit.
It really wasn't as bad as that. I mean, there were a couple books that were. Like Superman.
Man of Steel.
Yeah, that took a lot of effort. Batman, it's like everything. So that was simple. And that was like 3 boxes. All we had to do was re-alphabetize some of them.
Yeah.
And, a few of them, it's like, okay, everything after this point we got to look at closer.
Yeah.
Like some Daredevil got purged, some Thor.
Right. Not much Thor.
No. Just very little. Thor, as we talked about before, is your go-to stupid book.
Right.
But you definitely look at some of your Daredevil, I'm like, I fucking hate that.
I didn't need a lot of it. I'm not going to lie. And even with renewed interest in the fucking TV series coming out, I see a lot of people talking about Daredevil that weren't before. So I'm like, did you really have a collection and you just were quiet about DD? Or, come on, man. I don't know.
Even with the stuff,
I have the crucial shit. I have
you have a very weird random collection.
Daredevil Yellow. I have Man Without Fear.
You have Daredevil Yellow. Man Without Fear, you were missing one. Remember that was one of the miniseries that pissed you off. Anyway, let me get back, because your Daredevil collection is interesting. It's very PC, but most of what you have is core.
Yeah.
The funny thing is the largest section you have came from me, which is the Vicente Ramitas. You have a ton of.
Well, I can't give up Ramita.
No, particularly back then, he was killing it on that book.
And I would prefer not to get rid of Bullock.
Well, shit, yeah. But on top of that, you also have everything you have, though, is pretty solid period-wise. Like, you have some Millers, not a huge amount, but there's a good, there's some. You have some nice early stuff. You have some Mazzucchellis. So there's definitely some good books in there.
Yep.
But yeah, it's very PC. Your Thor is way more impressive. Your Cap, freaking solid, and your Batman's terrifying.
Isn't it, though? The entire long box plus just a detective.
A lot of Superman got pulled. A lot got kept, but a lot of Superman got pulled.
Yeah.
Almost no Wonder Woman left.
There was almost all the Wonder Woman stayed.
No, that's what I said. Almost no Wonder Woman left.
Oh, left as in were removed, as in took off, as in went bye. Yeah, I'm pushing it. We're padding the fuck out of this episode.
It's a DC episode. So let's start. Before we get in the books, you brought sad news.
Yeah.
Dick.
Yeah. Hey, you were going to find out eventually.
Maybe not. I'm very oblivious.
Well, that's true too. Let's raise the glasses to Marvel great Herb Trimpe, who died yesterday at 76.
Another guy whose autograph we'll never get.
Nope. However, you are light years ahead of me on Trimpe. There's the one piece of original art you own.
That's right. I do have his autograph.
I
totally
page
forgot
of Indiana
that.
Jones.
Well, and I feel bad, but I never think about it as Herb Trimpe. I think about it as Indiana Jones. I feel, well, I don't feel better that he's dead, but, Well, Herb Trimpe, for astute listeners, ex-interview star Ron Randall is a journeyman art. They're a guy who just did his job, didn't try to overshadow books. Just a talented, everyday artist.
Yeah, he was many people referred to his workmanlike attitude and professionalism as a draftsman.
Yep. And a core G.I. Joe artist.
He was all over the place, really.
Yep.
But G.I. Joe was the first time I was exposed to him. He was on Transformers.
I never really read that book, but G.I. Joe I had a ton of, and he did some great art for some of those books.
Yeah. I rather enjoyed his stuff on there.
Yep.
And, funny story I read today. about him. Some people were convinced that Marvel had coerced him into changing his style to mimic Liefeld's for his work on Fantastic Four Unlimited.
Really?
Yeah. People, well, I mean, because they figured because he was solid, plain, clean Herb Trimpe, and then suddenly he was scowls and lines and pouches for that one series. And he's like, and, you know, in an interview, he's like, no, and I'll tell you again. I did that because I looked at Liefeld stuff and I thought it dynamic and action-packed, and I actually had fun drawing like that. It was my decision.
Well, I mean, you know, you follow his styles. Like, that was 90s. Herb Trimpe's styles were all over the place. But yeah, and of course, we forget a lot of times when we think about artists how many of them inkers play such a vital part.
Oh, sure.
Like, there's a lot of guys whose style doesn't change when you ink, but there's a lot more guys whose inkers have huge impact.
Right, and that's frequently the difference between tight finished pencils and breakdowns.
Absolutely.
Hey, art terms. What are we doing?
Yeah, apparently we're a different.
Is this
fucking
us?
podcast.
Are we going to spot blacks next?
Oh, well, so what shitty movie are we watching today?
VIKINGDOM.
Dude, Dominic Purcell just, like, first off, like, what is that outfit? Like, what the fuck?
Whose?
Dominic Purcell.
The blue one?
Yeah, the guy from Prison Break, and
I didn't watch it.
he was one of the vampires in one of the Blade movies.
As if I'd remember that. I mean, it looks sufficiently medieval, I suppose.
Bullshit! It looks like something out of Styx.
Styx?
Yeah, the band from the 70s.
Arigato, Mr. Roboto. I do not remember Styx ever wearing that kind of stuff, man. I don't know where you're coming with that. Maybe Dream Theater.
Okay, fair. I didn't have as many Styx posters as you did, so.
I couldn't afford Styx posters. What are you talking about?
I love that the defense is not, I would never. It's, I couldn't afford that.
I suppose we should get stuck in on some DCs, huh?
Yeah, let's do it to it. What's first?
Well, first thing we got is Detective 39, which starts off with a fabulous splash of Batman scaring the living fuck out of Harvey Bullock in the backseat of his car.
So we're still smack dab in the middle of the Anarchy storyline.
Right.
Batman and Bullock have they're playing, like, the plot is moving very quickly in this, and I very much enjoyed it. But like, I was like, wait, what? Bullock's partner shot a kid during the riots, but Gotham is determined to blame Batman for it and get him busted, which the partner is kind of okay with, making her super fucking cop. And Bullock's like, that's kind of shitty, but I'm a stand-up guy, so I'm going to let you murder a child, which seems awful.
Yeah, just because he's not a rat.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not a rat, but there are limits. You know,
I never understood that thing myself, man. The whole "I'm not a rat."
Hey, you know what? There are things that you got to do, and there are things that you got to be quiet about. And we all get them, and we all find it to different levels. But yeah, like dead children really falls on the far end of that scale.
Yeah, I think you can get away with narking on them for fucking hello, dead kid.
Meanwhile, it doesn't quite go the way I was hoping, where the dead children are not related to Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
But it definitely, everything's tying together. There's a lot more mystery in this, and it's still not fully being revealed.
Which is fine, because mystery, rather than just uninforming us, is the better way to tell some Batman story.
No, and again, it feels like Detective Comics, which is cool. The art is very dynamic. Like, I could do without the Anarchy clones that, like, I need villains to not have cults for a while.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Put the cult down.
But I guess a lot of people's philosophy is, who can stand toe-to-toe with Batman, really? So he's got to, whoever the enemy is, they've got to have a lot of henchmen to
You know what?
make
I
a
don't
viable,
necessarily
believable
agree
fight.
with that. Like,
well,
yes,
I don't agree with it either. I'm trying to see it from the writer's point of view, maybe the editor's.
if you write Batman well, if you write anybody well, like, there are exceptions. Superman, okay, fine. You know, like, oh, I'm just going to go toe-to-toe and kick him in the nuts. My kryptonite boots. Like, Superman is responsible for some of the greatest comic abortions of all time. Because trying to get guys that are on par with him is so hard, you end up with shit like the Inner Gang. Like, we've got science weapons, and we're 30s mobster based, and we suck on every conceivable level. We are so bad and so lame that our name is the Intergang.
It's horrifyingly bad, isn't it? You remember I got rid of a lot of Intergang stuff.
But no, if you even saw the word Intergang, you're like, out! I believe it's the first appearance of out. However, having said that, Batman, like, anybody could take Batman down a moment, and frequently do. Like, you can say all this, many writers feel the need to have multiple villains, but almost all these same writers have one lone schmo that somehow whacks him with a stick and starts to get away, and Batman being like, grrr.
That's true, too. So why do we need these, armies, these cults? I feel that they are unnecessary, as you do. I'm just trying to come at it from...
I don't disagree with your point. But
what would the justification for that be on the writing front?
Well, I think part of it isn't so much making Batman threatening, because of course he's always going to be threatening. It's trying to involve the entire Bat family and embrace the whole Bat world, because Gotham is now a full fifth of the entire DC United States of suck my ass.
Wow, Rev, did you build that one up, or were you...
No, it just comes to me, sadly, but yes, like, Gotham is slowly eating entire states. Rhode Island is now Gotham Junior. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
Pretty soon, it's going to be fucking Gotham Mega City 1.
It feels that way. Like, insane shit happens and nothing changes. Like, it really... That's an awesome point. Gotham has become Mega City 1. For those of you who don't know what that is, go listen to another fucking podcast. Like, I explain the obscure, random, weird shit that I talk. Actually, I don't even explain that. I'm certainly not telling you basic level shit here. If you're like, what's a Mega City 1? All right, I'll give you this. Go look into British comics.
I don't even read that book, and I know what it is, man. I know
You have, though.
I know. I haven't enjoyed it.
You did not once? I know you hated Devil and Law. I know that.
Sometimes it's really hard to follow what's going on there.
It's anarchy in comic form, really.
It really is.
All right, fine, fuck it. At this point, if you haven't looked it up, you're not going to. We're talking about Judge Goddamn Dredd here. Because, like, being obscure is not what we do. Like, that just feels silly. But I'm loving the creative team on this. I'd like to see this book continue. I don't love the, super tough guy Harvey Bullock.
Yeah.
But that's a very small...
Manipul is finally getting a grip on it. He worried me early on.
Well, this is only issue 3, right?
Yeah.
Wow, you worry quickly.
Sometimes.
No,
but everybody's got those first issue,
I don't even think you're worried so much as you just assume that anybody who touches Batman is going to be awful lately. It's like, oh, what new fresh hell is this?
It's true.
Grant Morrison and Brett Blevins present Batman.
Why do you bring my nightmares to life?
That's just mean, but like that's exactly what you're like. What you literally every new creative team, you're like, how are you gonna fuck up?
Well, it's only been that way on Detective because Snyder and Capullo have been there for 40 fucking issues.
Well, Capullo, you love Capullo, but Snyder is you've waxed and waned with Snyder for a while now.
Well, when he's
there's a whale in the bank.
When he tries more intimate moments, when he's not having the entire fucking city in peril again, when he's not trying to pull out some shitball science, he does good shit.
I can't even recall the last Snyder story that didn't involve the entire city in peril.
Exactly.
I really can't. That's kind of sad.
Page by page. I have to start taking it page by page. Ew, you did not just do that on the screen. Right through the neck and then twist the sword? No, it's not. There's cartilage and bone and shit in there. You're not twisting it. Fuck
I love Viking ninjas.
Nobody's breath is condensing even though it's fucking snowing.
That's because they're all the thing.
I showed that movie to my nephews, and I posed that question at the end, and they made me rewind it and play it again for them like 6 times. And like, tell me which one's the thing, man.
Didn't even get it?
Nope.
Dude, I never caught
I never even noticed it myself.
I think Walsh caught it, actually. I believe he or Joel told me about it. But the funny thing is, like, once you've seen that, it's the most unbelievably obvious thing ever.
Yeah, it really is.
But you still have people who think that it's McCready. Like,
nah.
No, I've literally read, like, like...
Oh, no, I know. I believe that people believe it.
But it's so painfully obvious.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the only person who's going to tell us different is Carpenter himself, but he won't.
The hell, that man ain't got nothing I want to say. I don't want to hear anymore. Like, the last good movie he made was Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, but the second half of the 70s and through the 80s,
unbelievable,
he was untouchable, which it just makes it that much more disappointing. At any rate, let's talk about some Astro City 20.
Dude,
I love this book so much.
Crackerjack and Quarrel is a grim storyline. They
are. There's ins and outs, and do I love you? I don't love you. Are you?
I'm going to disagree slightly with you there, like, because it's definitely a I love you storyline. It's just a very atypical one.
Very atypical.
Like, yes, they break up and whatnot, but they're a couple. They care about each other. That's always established.
Yeah.
They do have a subplot with Quarrel's MPH romance.
Yeah, that was disappointing because that seems like a huge character flaw on Quarrel's part.
I didn't take it that way. Like,
I don't want to because I like Quarrel.
Well,
but
it's kind of breaking down the Batman mentality. It's, I don't have a power. I either train and make this work for myself, or I don't get to do it. And you have a power. I can't relate. And that's the perfect Bruce Wayne and Al. And, the difference is Batman doesn't really date superheroes.
No, he doesn't.
And Quarrel doesn't either. And if you thought about that for a second, if you imagine Batman in a relationship with somebody who's got superpowers, he'd be the most pissed off, unpleasant around them. Because he's already a type A overcompensator.
It's true.
So I think what's throwing you off, and sadly because we're 40-year-old men, is the fact that it's a woman. Like, if you take that away, if this was like the Batman character, like the Confessor or the Black Rapier, Quarrel has become the Batman as a result of this storyline in a way that we never saw coming.
True.
Like, we always had her sort of as the Green Arrow type character, in, using really bad analogies, but, like, oh, I shoot Quarrels, like, fuck it. Like, I can work with that. Anyway.
No, but I was talking more about the I'm a jerk, so I need a jerk.
I don't think it's necessarily that.
Well, that's what she flat out
said.
But
I have to try. I don't have time for anything else. I need a relationship that doesn't expect anything from me. And it's not bad. It's just sad.
Yeah.
And it's particularly sad. But like I said, part of that's also because of our, age and upbringing. Like, your first reaction, but you're a girl, which is wrong on so many levels.
But at least she owns her emotional deficiency.
Right, which Batman has never done.
Ever.
Right, which is awesome, and which is why Busey is such a good writer. The other aspect of it that also pains you is that MPH is such a ridiculously nice guy getting screwed over.
And he's not even the Twitter, oh, you're a nice guy version.
He's a legitimately
nice
guy.
Genuinely fucking courteous and thoughtful person.
And he looks at the thing and he's like, no, I deserve better than this. She's like, you do, but I'm not going to give you that. Because I don't have to and I don't want to. And you can't stop that.
Nope. It's impossible.
So you have actually realistic person. So I didn't have a problem with it at all, but I get where you're coming from with it. And also, there's some own personal experiences that chip away in there too. But yes, there is also the classic "I'm a nice guy" fake nerd anthem, which is actually like, no, you're a dick who pretends to be nice to try and get somewhere, which is an entirely different, horrible podcast for later.
We know people like that.
Everybody
we
knows
knew
people
like that. We don't hang out with them motherfuckers no more.
I think for a lot of us, we've all slipped into those kind of things. Like, I think most people inherently try to be nice people. We're getting all philosophical, so this is obviously not a regular podcast. But
we'll move over to Wonder Woman soon.
The idea that being a nice guy gets you nowhere is very embittering, and it's very easy to fall into that. It's staying there and being a dick and pretending to not be. We all have bad days. We all do shitty things. The best person on earth is fucking, kicked a puppy or slapped an oak tree or some shit.
Slapped an oak tree.
Fuck you, Mother Gaia. Everybody has a crappy day. But the people who continue to fake like they're one thing when there's something else are always not to be trusted.
Right.
Getting back to this, so I'm starting to feel this weird thing with Astro City, which is one of my favorite books all time.
Yeah.
I have always been a huge fan of Astro City.
Uh-huh.
You know this.
Yeah.
It's becoming Manifest Destiny, and it's becoming harder to talk about. It's like, it's good. Yeah, it's really fucking good. Like, we've had some off... If you go back and listen to some of the DCs, our talks about Astro, this has actually been surprisingly in-depth for us. You're like, that's pretty good. Quill's neat.
Well, I mean, the stories are so fucking dense.
Yep.
He packs so much characterization, dialogue, backstory, world building.
Yep.
Every panel is jam-packed with all of that.
Yep. And the depth, not only of the story, but all this backstory that doesn't even exist.
No, the issues that they refer to things happening in were never printed.
Right, and it's not like, what was that Image Comics 1963 thing that Alan Moore did?
Yeah.
It's like, go see Horace, Lord of Light, number 19.
Which never got printed.
Exactly, issue 211, 19. Like, it's not that kind of referencing, but he's got a depth of the relationships in his head.
Yeah.
That's just insane.
It's what some people refer to as head canon.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't like that because it sounds way too much like head cheese to me, but anyway.
What?
I'm just saying.
That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Nothing I say
Canon
makes
and
sense.
cheese do not even remotely cross each other.
Do they both have a C? They both start with a C. They both have vowels.
That's
and they're both
just
nouns.
not close enough.
And they're both nouns.
That's just not close enough.
C, vowels, noun.
Oh, whatever.
3 points of similarity.
Jesus
You
Christ.
can convict people of that in North Virginia.
North Virginia. You thought you'd catch me on that one.
You gotta try, shit.
North Virginia. You jackass.
Dude, if that had slipped by and you went back and listened, you're like, motherfucker, I pretended North Virginia was a state. Welcome to North Virginia. Home of no one.
Look, dude, I've lived in Virginia, and I've been to West Virginia. And believe me, if there had been a North, I'd have preferred to be there. At any rate, wow. So yeah, I mean, you can't talk about that without blowing all the best moments for other people.
And we're a spoiler podcast, but there's also being a dick.
Yeah. And you can't... it's also very difficult to convey just what a good Astro City story can do to you while you're reading it.
It's not a book... Like, I don't understand if you read comics and you don't read Astro City. Like,
yeah, it's like, this is fucking comics,
right.
dude.
Like, there are things that I like that you don't have to. And I don't say that, like, dickishly. Like, yes, okay, fine. I like Master of Kung Fu. Many people do not. Fine, I actually understand that. I collect some shit that nobody collects. Fine. But what I'm saying is there's shit that I think everyone should be reading. Criminal. Fucking Thief of Thieves. Ghosted.
Sure. Yep.
Books that I think are really awesome. In your case, She-Hulk. You know, things that you're like, dude, this is a great book. But I don't expect everybody to like that. But I can't fathom a world in which you dig and buy comics on a regular basis.
And you don't touch Astro City.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
Like, if you're a Silver Agey guy, this is fucking perfect for you. The story we just read, that is full of modern era angst and comicsy grit. It's 80s with the crazy invasions. It's every era is incredibly well done in every issue. There's nothing not to like here.
Even if you don't like superhero comics, but if you like comics, you respect writing and art, and this kills on both of those.
Yep.
So, like, I just I'm beating it at horse, but I can't get it. Like, it's like you read Astro City? No, man. What do you read? Comics. Not well. Fucking how many X books do you own, bitch? Your favorite X-Men Dr. Nemesis? Like, what the fuck kind of comic fan are you?
You got a signed X-Force, don't you?
7.
Which one's 7?
I know, he's got 7 of them.
Because there's nothing important about any X-Force book.
Dude, it's like Cable Masterworks.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to know about Cable Masterworks.
That does not sound right.
Moving forward.
Moving right along.
We got Wonder Woman 39, which brings us back to the Finches. We have Batman, Supes, and Wonder Woman crawling around some tunnels where they find these horrible mutant fusions of people that were
some sort of alien space monster has pulled entire villages down into the tunnels under them to turn them into what basically seems like cocoons for fuckery. Like, you're never even sure what he's growing. It's like, I'm just an evil space dick. And
yeah, it's not made clear at all.
Diana
why
goes
he's
berserk.
doing this shit.
Superman is possibly threatened, and Diana goes batshit loco. Like, I'm going to end this alien asshole.
And they do stop her in time, however. So there's that much.
Now, the high points of this, the art, again, Finch is killing it.
Yep.
And I like a lot of aspects of things. The fact that Meredith Finch is relatively new to writing, there's some glaringly poor dialogue in some of these sections. Like,
a couple things here.
There's a couple things that you just knee-jerk, like, what? No.
And I'm not entirely certain her characterization of Diana is quite there just yet.
I don't have a problem with it because an overly martial Diana is an extremely common thing. And a struggling with her own power Diana, like, these are all things that have been done plenty of times. Some of them have been done better than this in terms of writing.
Right.
But, I can't entirely follow you there because this is all, like, her being like, I want to kill this dude because I'm a warrior, but I'm also a hero. Like that, all right, we've dipped a toe in those waters. Yeah.
But the ease in which she jumps to rage.
I don't have a problem. Like, if you go to Justice League 3000, like, then that Diana, future Diana, clone Diana, whatever the fuck it is, out there, like, smashing monster demons to bits and whatnot, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that either. The fact remains that I want it to be a little smoother than this, but that's also, writing takes time. Like, you have to find your voice and whatnot. What really comes out is that Meredith doesn't have a good voice for Batman at all.
That's true.
And you got to, like, as a huge, like, you are the Batman mark. You can't tell me you were reading that, like, no!
She is dissonant on Batman.
Right.
But eventually, she has to come to terms with what she did to the alien, and she has a vision of her mother.
That was kind of awesome. Not even a vision,
pretty good.
The mother being so much of the clay of the island for so long that she's connected to the island. Which
Yeah,
is a really good idea.
All right, well, I was waffling between ghost and vision.
Yeah, it seems to be a piece. Vision is the correct term, but not vision the way we normally think of it.
What the fuck am I looking at on that screen?
Gold horse. Anyway, and then
I tell you about that.
The religious cult piece at the end with what appears to be Donna Troy. Like, I'm like, yeah, I actually can't wait to read the next one. Like, they're doing some awesome things in this book. I would like some of the writing to be a little smoother in how they're doing it.
Yeah. I'm with you.
But
a lot of people flat out hate what she's doing so
I
far.
don't agree with that at all. I I think that a lot of people miss Azzarello and his awesome take on it, and this is not that at all.
Nope.
But I don't see anything here that you should be like, I hate it. But then I also don't understand fucking DC fans in the slightest. These are the best books ever. These are the only books that sell. How is that possible?
I don't know, dude.
Apparently, the same people that don't read Astro City read nothing but DC. Like, it just it confuses the shit out of me.
And that's something that a lot of fans got to work on, man. If you want to say that you are a Batman fan, if you want to say you're a Superman fan, great. Read Batman, read Superman, don't read anything else. If you want to say you're a comics fan, you can't wander around in just one universe.
Well,
it's silly.
You know what?
There's so much high quality stuff.
You can be
so many different.
You can be a TV fan just like sitcoms. Like you're right in an overview, but like it's terminology. There are a lot of Marvel fans. There are a lot of DC fans. You have for most of your life and been a Marvel fan who loved Batman most of all. You bought a few DC books, but Marvel is pretty much like.
Well, I mean,
doing the podcast, we look at comics differently now too. And you've always been a collector first and foremost. But like back in high school, Marvel books were the most of the buying, but Batman was always the premier book.
We were stuck with the newsstand, though. There was no other. That's what you got. Yeah.
But there
was no ordering. There was no pre-ordering.
That's true. But there were always there were some DCs on there.
And I got them.
Well, okay. I was about to use the word bought, but that isn't actually accurate.
I bought after I got a job. I got Secret Origins. I got Suicide Squad. I got Captain Atom. I got Blue Beetle.
Well, all right, fair enough. Well, if there was a period where Captain Atom and Blue Beetle, like those were terrible books, also played.
Yeah, but that's what we had, so that's what I got.
But no, I'm not knocking you at all. All I'm saying is that, like. Most of us go through periods. Like a few years ago on this podcast, we were very Marvel biased.
Oh, sure.
Because it was the best shit. Now we're very indie. Well, Marvel is slowly eating indies again. Because they come out on fucking time.
That's a key thing people forget, man. Yeah. You can't buy product that doesn't exist.
So
and
true.
I will buy product that does exist. So...
Yeah, it's very true. If you don't get enough of your shit, you'll go to the shop, pick up other things. It's like, well, these didn't show, so I'll try something different.
Yep.
And if I like it more,
And what am I going to do? Grab an envelope and put my $2.99 in there? Wait, no, this is earmarked for American Vampire. I hope it comes out next summer.
Dear Velvet, please write more fucking spy comics.
It's true, dude. It's true. But no, the showdown with the apparent Donna Troy is going to be cool.
I can't wait. Like, I think the book is going well. I don't see problems with it outside of the fact that I would like to see it be
smoother.
Yeah, and then, that's not even like a real term. Like, you should write smoother. What the fuck are you, Lando Calrissian? Shut the fuck up.
Consistent writing.
Yeah.
Works every time. How about some Sinestro? That works every time.
I love Sinestro. It's almost a segue. Good job. My one problem with the Sinestro book, I always have one problem. I'm kind of a dick.
Well, no, I mean, you can't. The fact is that there are going to be flaws in everything.
And this is not a flaw. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. This is not a flaw with the Cullen's run or the art or anything. It's not a direction flaw. It's simply... Stop with the Green Lantern fucking huge storylines. It's like, all I want is my fucking Cullen Bunn Sinestro book, and I gotta not understand I get to kind of understand 2 out of every 3 issues. Like,
well, I mean, this does not have that happening.
It still kind of does because you're following up on that and where they are. Now, Mongol and Sinestro are... Mongol hates Sinestro because of the 18 times Sinestro's fucked him in previous epic Green Lanterns.
So he lures him to Battleworld, or Warworld, whatever the fuck it's called this week. And they throw down for a little while. And Mongol is actually kind of kicking it a little bit.
Which is good because Mongol, going back to bad Superman monster fucking...
Yeah, I gave up quite a few Mongol issues of Superman.
But Mongol is a cool Superman villain who should be top level, and
Yep.
Like, what was the name of the Justice League villain that Morrison and Porter introduced that downloaded all of Batman into his head and was unbelievably awesome? Prometheus.
Oh, yes. Yes,
And
yes.
just an incredible badass. Came out of nowhere, and you're reading that, you're like, holy shit, this is a good villain. And then they proceeded to butcher his character every other time he got used so badly that they pretended that a different Prometheus had taken his place, and he had to murder him and take over again.
That, you know, if you got to cover up bad writing to get back to good writing again, there are worse ways to cover it
Yeah,
up.
except they did the same thing with the Mad Hatter to get rid of the mustachioed one. Like, no, I'm the original.
Yeah.
No. Prometheus and the Mad Hatter should not have the same base origin.
No, they really shouldn't.
Anyway, like, Mongol is a A-level badass Superman villain. And so him fucking with Sinestro should be awesome. And it is.
Right.
And then Mongol having this huge plan with Warworld to fuck all the Yellow Lanterns, amazing. And Sinestro sitting there like, oh, my ring is almost dead. Like, what do I do? And you're like, dude, your plan blows. Like, you're bringing all the Yellow Lanterns knowing Mongol's going to sap all their powers. And he is. But and if you pull Parallax, I'm going to beat that thing too and take it.
He's got something up his sleeve.
He does. And you're sitting there like, Sinestro seems fucked here. This is not the Sinestro I've been reading for 10 issues.
And
like,
yet it totally is, because you know he's got a way out.
he had, with 3% charge, he sends 2% messages to the Yellow Lanterns and 1 to his fucking babe, Orion the female, the
Becca.
new god coming to kick Mongol ass. And if you can't find the awesomeness in that.
Meanwhile, Saranic has come back from a mission to go find some more Korrigarans, and unfortunately, she was a little too late.
Yep.
So
Mongol had killed them.
So she has a little tete-a-tete, heart-to-talk with one of the other Korrigarans, and just has a very intimate moment.
Yeah, except really, like, there's 52 Korrigarians left in the entire planet, and you're like, oh no, one of the dead ones was my child.
Okay.
Really? Do you know what odds are?
Very low.
Yeah.
Very low.
Yeah. But I do like that they're working on her character. And it's interesting because they're working on her character in the Green Lantern books one way and the Sinestro books another way. And so there's a lot of depth, and I think we do lose something in reading Sinestro without Green Lantern. But I'd really like to just fucking enjoy my Sinestro book without being confused every 8 fucking pages.
Well, I really don't think we're missing all that much. When there's a crossover issue, yes. But for the most part, I think that they have kept their own direction in between those crossovers quite well.
Yeah, but how many crossovers have there been in the first 12?
62.
Like, this issue actually crosses over with a Plastic Man Jonah Hex special. What? Sinestrex? How is that even possible?
I don't even know what that means, but okay.
I was combining Sinestro and Hex.
Oh, I see. Are you ready for scotch?
I am always ready for scotch, bitch.
Are you, though? Let me see.
I will be in a
Tons
minute.
left. What are you talking about?
No, that's ice.
There's a lot of amber in that ice.
Not anymore.
Oh, we'll be right back. You would never stab me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I would stab anyone over scotch.
Over scotch? All right, you may stab me.
Oh, hey, yeah, speaking of that, I almost got... I had
Speaking of stabbing me?
Well, yeah, but no. I had a guy trying to recruit me at my job today to be a beer rep salesman. Like, this is the most amazing thing ever. But it was for Anheuser-Busch, and I'm like,
God.
What do I care? Like, part of it, like, I would never leave my job. I'm in a good position and whatnot. But at the same time, like, dude, you have no idea who you're talking to right now. Like, he's just like, because I make a joke sometimes. Like, I had to do an order form, so I had to fucking, like, pull it up on the iPad and order something online for him, which takes a while because I got to set up a whole profile.
Yeah.
And it's me, so I'm fucking sitting there one finger fucking typing on an iPad and hitting the wrong button 13 times and having it back. So, I have to do a lot of charming to make up for the amount of fucking time that I'm wasting. And I'm like, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry this takes so long. I'm like, no, dude, don't worry about it. I get paid for this. Like, not a lot or anything, but, And so we're going a little further on. He's like, well, you should definitely come work for me. I said, as a beer representative. Like, yeah, you seem relatively affable and you don't make a lot. I'm like, I actually do fine, sir. But I'm not telling you that now because beer representative sounds amazing. He's like, yeah, I work for Anheuser-Busch. I'm like, what? But that was so cool, too. Like, I don't know anybody. It's just such a neat experience. But I'm not going to be a beer representative. That's probably never going to happen. I wanted to literally like shake the dude and be like, you have no idea who you're talking. Like, how much I am the dude you should be talking to. Like, if you had found me 20 years ago, we'd rule this. Like, if you, my likability and love of beer could have made us both millionaires. I can bring nerds to tables and to talk about podcasting, and have done it. If you got more drinks in me, God only knows what I'm capable of. I'd be dead by now, though.
Yeah, you probably would. And I don't know your comics, but you should call that guy. Oh, I see you're ignoring that one.
No, it's bad.
So Batman 39 opens with a shot of the upside down bat signal because, Joker got you.
Yeah.
Wonk, wonk. But
Joker got, son.
Batman has realized that he is gone as far as he can with what he has available to him. So he finally decides that he needs help, and he needs help in a big way. So who does he go to? The Court of fucking Owls. And of course they're like, fuck you, Batman, we have nothing to do with you. And as a matter of fact, there's a Talon behind you who's going to take your head off.
Yeah, which goes very badly for them.
It always does.
I did enjoy the part. This, like, as much as I've been liking the build of this issue is kind of a pullback to some of the weaker Snyder Batman. So it's like where it's all fucking
Over
visual drama and no depth.
Yeah.
I like the part where he's talking to the owls and they're like, "We are growing." And you're like, and he literally looked at him and he's like, "You're only as big as I let you be." And I'm like, okay, fuck yes. Not really Batman per se.
No,
but still
that's
awesome.
totally Batman.
No, it's not. And I'll tell you why.
Oh, well,
because they're not in prison.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
Like, here's a Batman who's checking in with villains and like teaming up with like. No.
But you think about it. I mean, he's not going after Marconi every issue. He lets some villainy slide to get to other bigger.
Not the
issues.
Court of Owls.
All right.
The super assassin, sewer dwelling city rulers. No.
But if we give him just a little leeway, then we understand that they're only going to get as far as he wants them to. And right now, he considers them no palpable threat. So, they may be growing, but they're not going to get big enough to make any major moves.
Yeah, there's a Talon that jumps out of the sewer with a giant scythe. So, obviously they're still kind of threatening. They still have new Talons coming up because this one was weird and freaky looking.
Yeah, I didn't like that characterization. I was like, really? He looks like this 1602 version of a fucking Talon.
He totally did. No, the Court of Owls drives me crazy anyway. And the upside down Gotham over their heads, like just to remind us that, we're below the city and the city is below us.
Okay.
If you can hire that level of architect, move out of the sewer.
There's a lot of over-the-topness to everything in this Batman. Everything is larger than life. Everything is bigger than it needs to be. Everything is more complex than it ever would serve. But, you know what
it is with this book? Is if let's contrast this. I know you don't like to do stuff out of order, but I want to do American Vampire after this.
Yeah, all right.
Because in American,
well, that's when I have my book. So I don't have my book, so it doesn't matter.
American Vampire Scott Snyder is intricate and slow building.
It is.
And Batman Scott Snyder is intricate, but it's not. It doesn't feel as well thought out, or as it's just like massive without this huge the headcanon piece that you were talking about earlier. That depth of behind the scenes thought. Like Joker's an eternal demon thing. And the Court of Owls has a taste of their blood to do what they do, but not the level that the Joker has. Right. And we're going to cut off Alfred's hand, which just pisses me off.
That just, I saw that and I'm like, go fuck yourself, man. Don't give him a robot hand, for God's sake.
I mean,
You know they will.
yeah, or you know,
I'm going to be buying an action figure with fucking Alfred's Kung Fu grip up in this one, and I'm not going to like that. I'll sell it, but I won't like it. But then he brings in the whole, the rest of the Bat family to fight all these whatevers. And I was like, I don't care. But then he brings in the villains, and I'm like, well...
that is a Bat's move.
Maybe now this is interesting. Maybe a temporary ceasefire so that he can use their abilities and get the mission done, and then have them in a position where he can then bust them.
Everybody hates the Joker.
That sounds like a Batman-y thing.
It does. Everyone, and every villain, every hero, everyone hates the Joker. That's your one safe bet.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, no, I did enjoy that piece. The best thing in this issue for me was actually the backup story's end, in which the Doctor is revealed to have been scammed by the Joker the same way all the patients are. He's just going to all these people, telling them what he thinks they want to hear. So all their origin stories are real, and they're all fucked simultaneously, which is both ridiculously stupid and insanely awesome. And ends on the insane note of the Doctor killing all 5 patients and theoretically herself.
Which just...
Because
What?
6 bullets, 6 shots, 5 patients.
I can see it.
It's a black ending, but if we accept the level of Joker that we're being given here, which has been challenging...
It seems quite likely.
But super demon, fucking ridiculously funny man Joker telling different origins to different psychopaths, creating different fucking insane scenarios.
Seems to fit.
This worked really well in establishing that level of the character.
Yeah.
So, while I didn't love the backup for most of them, I thought it ended on a crazy high note, or low note, depending on how you look at it, because it was morbidly sad. But then you go from here to American Vampire,
right,
where the Ring has been around forever, and they're ready to... They've been hunting the same guy that's hunting Skinner and
Pearl.
Miss Amanda Jones, or whatever the hell her name is.
Pearl.
What's her last name?
Probably Jones. But her first name is definitely Pearl.
But, here you have the same intricacy, but it's just, there's more depth to it.
Well, yeah, because, vampire monkeys from space is fucking deep.
Dude, the fact that you have to go fight, that you have vampires going off into space is ridiculous. And yet at the same time, because of the level of thought that went into this and the slow build,
yeah,
it's not insane that you're like, oh shit, now they have to go into space. You're like, fuck yeah, you have to go into space. It's a logical step. It's an insane logical step. Just like the rest of these books have been.
Yeah.
I feel like, when American Vampire comes out, it's a damn fine book. It just should come out once in a while.
It's true, man. Of course, he's been on vacation to Europe and Disneyland for 2 months, according to his Twitter.
Good work if you can get it.
So they're trying to make deals with the VMS and the other vampires to do what?
Basically, and I don't recall the thing's name, that horrible vampire-sucking vampire thing that ruined Pearl's kids' hideout and corrupted all of them, has corrupted Skinner, is chasing both of them, so they've teamed up with her ex-agent friend, who brings them to the Ring headquarters, where they're like, you just brought the worst Skinner douchebag person ever to our super secret hideout, Bob. Like, that's awful. Like, that's a horrible plan. And then it's revealed, and then of the 6 of them, they know that 3 of them are infested by this thing, and they use salt water.
Which is kind of interesting. Flung at them by a vampire elephant.
That was awesome. That was ridiculously awesome.
Really? Vampire elephant?
Was it a vampire? I just knew it was an
elephant. Well, he
elephant.
had the red glowy eyes.
Oh, then maybe he was. But I totally enjoyed that. Like, the ring's named after a ringling. And I'm like, ha, ha, ha. I didn't see that coming.
Well, I mean, they got the vampire space monkeys. Why not vampire elephants?
Hey, you know what?
Come on.
All I know is, like, fucking enjoyed the hell out of that. Like, American Vampire, again, is becoming a graphic read in that, particularly with the amount of time in between.
Yeah.
The depth of the story makes it harder to jump back in.
Oh, no, I'm done. I didn't even bother ordering the next 2.
Oh, that's sad.
Because every time I order them, they fucking get canceled.
Yeah. So you're just going to graphic it up?
I'm just going to graphic it.
You are moving that way with certain things anyway, so it makes sense.
Well, some of the things work, but some of the things you're like desperate to know what the fuck goes on, and 6 months is not tenable.
Well, that, and you also enjoy it.
And they do say if you want to support people and make sure you actually get a trade out of it, you got to buy the singles.
Yep.
So there's a balancing act there between which ones do I hope last and not buy.
Well, also,
and which ones do I want to ensure will last and buy?
Some things you find in trade and get rid of the singles of. Other things you like to have both of. Some things you have the singles, don't feel the need for a trade. There's no universalness to this. And it can be something you like. Like you just gave me the complete Sherlock Holmes, Victorian Undead Sherlock Holmes versus Dracula.
Right.
The second one.
Because I just found the trade at ECC.
And now, if it were the first one, which you really like, you'd probably keep the singles too.
Yes.
Because you really liked it.
Yep.
This one, you're like, it was not as good. I enjoyed it, but I'd like a reading copy. But I don't need 2 versions of it.
Right.
So that mindset, there's 3 levels to these things. Actually, it's 4, which is fuck it. I don't want it. I'm not going to buy it. That's my most common level. That's like my plateau. Not plateau. Flateau.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Who does?
Hello. Are we getting somewhere with this fucking show or what?
No.
Nope. They refuse to pay off.
Why, Miss Jones, without your top on, you're quite beautiful. Sad. Next.
What's next is the fun but ultimately not substantive Harley Quinn Valentine's Day special.
I don't know why I keep doing these
where
things.
she does crimes to get money to pay for an auction to have a date with Bruce Wayne.
Because he's a hottie McHottie.
And that concept does amuse me. I don't know that it's $5 worth of amusement.
No, it's... The thing is, Harley Quinn... They've made Harley Quinn likable to the point that her manicness doesn't feel right anymore.
Yeah.
Like, she's not like a crazy villain anymore. She's a slightly weird hero, and that's just a totally different thing.
Yeah, and it... there's few enough really, truly awesome villains. And they were getting somewhere with her.
All the great villains become heroes at some point, and it's very annoying. Even the Joker. Luther cloned himself and had to fucking went through that.
Now, see, did the Joker just get his own book, or did he become a hero in his own book?
He wasn't... no, he was still a villain in his book. He was much less villainous, and he stopped other greater villains. But I'm talking about in the weird Morrison period where he was the Undertaker-looking guy and was the hero for like a year and a half.
See? More Morrison shit.
But still happened, so...
Yeah.
But Luther... I mean, the Red Skull, he has never been a hero, but he's a Nazi. What the fuck? What are you going to do?
You can never convert a Nazi to a hero.
I'm Super Nazi! You suck. There's your title.
Yeah, the Master Man is never going to save the planet,
No.
But no, I mean, it was
maybe
fun.
Dr. Faustus, the evil Nazi head shrinker, because that's a fucking concept.
There was a neat mix of art styles that kept me engaged. But
my other issue is Amanda Conner was so suited. I always want her cover art on the inside because it has that light, fun, sexy touch that Harley Quinn. And I thought the artist did a great job. Harley Quinn looked very pretty in some things. The action looked decent. But you know what my other big problem with Harley Quinn books is? Is they make Poison Ivy so nice in these, and she's so horrible and everything.
It's inconsistent. It's if this was one line of books and they were different like that, then you could say, well, it's the ultimate DC universe. Right. Of course she's nicer. She's a different person. But they are the same character, just in different books. So there's no consistent characterization there.
Right.
Which is dissonant, to use a SAT word. Not quite.
VIKINGDOM is very confusing.
They're making me edge.
Don't edge, whatever the fuck that means. No, it's fine. It's cute. It's just, it's never quite like, oh, that was awesome.
Nah, not just yet. And I would like to laugh a bit more. I can see where there's supposed to be jokes, but the most they ever make me do is grin. You know? I would like to laugh. Miss Marvel makes me laugh. Squirrel Girl makes me laugh.
Squirrel Girl does not make me laugh.
Ah, well, that's your lack of complete soul.
Yeah, no, that's my
it's
issue.
your dead, shriveled heart. Is Come on. When Tippy Toe splatted against that window, how did you not laugh at that?
It was remarkably easy.
Oh, you suck. You suck so much.
All right.
Superman, 39.
Oh, now, here's a perfect example of building a villain who is the opposite of Superman. Here you have Ulysses, who has a similar but completely different origin.
Yeah?
Except he murders entire populations.
Thinking that his planet is so important and so above it all and so crucial to the universe that it's completely justified to kill 6 million people to power their whatevers, even though they can cross dimensions and should be able to figure up a decent alternate power source.
Hey, you know what? They're not his people. Except then there are, because he goes to Earth, which, you know, you probably should be like, maybe avoid that one. Like, that's the one planet, you know, mom and dad's planet. But the fight is awesome.
The fight is staggering.
And JR makes it look amazing. Like, you can't tell me reading this book you weren't like,
everything
fuck yes.
has impact and weight and gravity to it and just sparks and intensity everywhere. Just fucking JR was amazing. And then there's the reveal of, well, Superman's trying so fucking hard, he's actually released every last bit of solar energy in his body and created a fucking crater that, what?
Yeah, he has the new power of solar flare, which leaves him human. I did not like
For
this.
slightly less than a day.
Yeah, I did not care. This felt like fucking Richard Donner Superman 2 bad. Like, I didn't care for that at all.
Well, to be fair, they can't use it too terribly often without diluting the whole concept.
If you can't find a way to beat a dude when you've got Superman's powers without creating another one.
Power? Well, I mean, they've kept his power set pretty stable for a very long time now.
That's not true at all.
Yeah, it is.
Really, he was blue lightning.
Pretty stable. Is not completely static. Okay? Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth.
I'm just saying, yeah, pretty stable. He was a blue lightning force.
Yeah, but
and he was also a cyborg. And
he was not the
I
cyborg.
know, but now I'm just fucking with you.
But that was over 30 years. Byrne straightened him out after the crisis 30 years ago.
Yeah, if you are...
He's had one genuine change in powers over that period. Everything else has been refinements of everything.
Yeah, no, they've
everything
changed
he
things
already
slightly, but
does.
yes, I'll give you that. But, you know, the years before that, it was all over. Like,
No, it was terrible.
Every week.
It was super telepathy, super drafting skills. Yeah, you know, super... what was one of the kookier ones? Like, super diaper-changing telekinesis he had at one point. Or some crazy-ass Silver Age horse shit.
Now, we're very, very pro-Byrne on this podcast. And, you know, we like to blame it all on me, but you're a huge Byrne fan, too. Not to the same Mark level that I am, but, guys...
But who is?
Crazy talented, great writer, better artist. If you don't like John Byrne at all, the 6-issue Man of Steel miniseries is still a must-have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, a revamp of Superman beginning and end. Don't you have that in graphic form?
No, I had to get issues.
I thought you had that. That is one I need to find. I've never found the graphic of it. But phenomenal book. I still love this Superman. I just didn't love that.
Well, I mean, not everything has to be lovable. We like to...
We're nitpicky.
It's our bread and butter to hate
mean, yeah.
given things every
I
issue.
think the solar flare thing was definitely a little rough. I did, however, appreciate a Batman who was true to character but not Batman-like. Like, here's a Batman who's worried about his friend.
Oh, yeah.
And the moment where he's like, dude, if anybody else developed this power, I'd be nervous, but you're you. Like, that's the best thing ever. Like, that's classic Batman.
That's right on. That is Bruce. That's how he'd see it.
But it wasn't written that way for a long time, but they've reestablished that connection.
Yeah.
And I love that. So there's still great things, and the book looks awesome. Like, if you like JR, like, dive right in.
This is the best he's been in a while. And he's always been good.
Yep.
You know? Anything that I've seen his name on, I was like, I will look at that. You want to finish off?
Batgirl is still fun. This was a step backwards. The whole city has been tweeted that if they kill Batgirl...
There's a flash mob to kill Batgirl.
Yes, and they get $200,000 or some shit. First off, like, if you live in a city with Batman, would you take that seriously?
Would you even dare try
no.
that?
You and I wouldn't even go outside. We don't break the law. It's like,
and then, on top of that, I mean, it's not like they can't figure out. I mean, that's contract murder.
Yeah. Good luck collecting on that, douche nozzle. So that was ridiculous. The backstory of Batgirl rebuilding her relationship with Dinah and them redeveloping that was awesome, because Dinah...
No, that was really good.
And I like Dinah. I mean, I still have a very old school Dinah in my head from, like, Krell Batman, Green Arrows, and fucking Brave and the Bold. But I totally enjoyed that, and I like the mentor thing.
They had this very long conversation over sparring on the rooftop where Babs has this epiphany, and she goes to investigate it.
You also have the cool thing that Barbara has, and we talked a lot about this because it's important, the background cast of characters, and they're all involved in different levels in her story.
Right.
Some are helping her with the Batgirl gear. Some are involved in her personal life. Some are her personal life. Some are in danger because they know her. So they're using all the resources well. The art is light and fun, but appropriate to the story. However, it ends on this ridiculous, like, did I hack my own brain, or am I the evil villain in the... Like, when she went to one of her sidekicks and was like, how do you know the pictures they took of the impersonator, some weren't of me? What?
That is a weird question.
Yeah. So, I don't... You've read the next one and you say I'm not going to be thrilled?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So that's disappointing because the book was starting to build more of a fan base for me.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay, I'm starting to get into this.
And I was looking at this last page where the computer program with her engrams, which Star Trek people will understand, but you probably won't.
Not even a little.
Largely they're neurological character traits.
Right.
That can be copied because they're just information.
You mean like my love of booze?
Could be.
Yay. I got a neurological trait.
I was happy because that would explain a lot, because if she's not really... If the flesh and blood one that's been running around these issues is not really Babs, but Babs is trapped in the computer, that would explain why she's been so sloppy and why she's been so bubble-headed.
No, and that's a depth of writing that I appreciate. Like, you look at the first Star Trek movie, the new revamp,
Yep.
and the way it was able to recreate Star Trek while still embracing the original.
Yep.
Or the way the last X-Men film cut through all the confusion of the previous ones, kept the good and destroyed the bad. Like, that's a level of thought that's impressive.
Yeah.
It's not always smooth and clean transition.
Right.
Like, there are some ugly pieces to that, but whatever.
And we'll find out next month that is just not meant to be. But overall, you know, I do nitpick it mostly because I come at it with too much knowledge of computers.
Well, you know, we'll see what my fucking
We'll see what your take
druid
is.
worshipping ass.
Well, you'll recognize it. At any rate, that's an hour plus. There's very little scotch left in the glasses, and I think it's time we called it even.
Bless you, fuckers!
And away.
The Mean Geek is recorded live at the Reverend Mad Duck's apartment whenever the hell we can get to it. Find us on Facebook, Stitcher, Twitter under @TheMeanerGeek. Subscribe to us through RSS.
Or we can be located at our own site, www.themeangeek.com, And most importantly of all, you can find us as a proud member of the Comics Podcast Network.
Email us directly at themeanergeek@gmail.com.
Can I drink now?
You may.